I caused chaos. I told doctors they were making mistakes. They hated the fact that I pointed out they were making mistakes. They pleaded for me to get out. So I agreed with them on that plea, so I gave them even much more stress so they would plea louder. And I was like, done. I didn't even realize that was vacant, but it was okay. Now I'm an ambassador. I thought it would have been an easier job. It's not. Because the Minister of Health was harder than teaching, and at lecturing I had 1,000 students, and the Minister of Health was harder than that. And now as an ambassador, they kind of cheated because they told me it was going to be to Geneva. So I came, but it's not just Geneva. I'm also for Paris, doing UNESCO, and I'm in Bern, and then I'm in Vienna, and I'm the ambassador to Italy, and I'm the ambassador to Austria, and I was like, this is not right. So what we call the multiculturalism, which is not really a good word these days. We see when we started and we placed it, and we were proud to be Trinbagonians, and now they're proud that they know the latest songs to whatever Nicki Minaj or somebody else is singing. Go with the flow. Enjoy the ride, as wild as it may be. And I am truly a person that goes with the flow, okay? I mean, I think I am one of the first persons to find someone on the internet and marry them. Okay, and I put a little of this, a little of that, just enough not to get fat. I've met my husband on All Fools Day, 1996. He wrote me and said, hi, my name is Penguin, and I was Tropical Bear. Okay, I tried to stick with my culture. I was Tropical Bear on the internet. And he wanted to know about Trinidad and Tobago. And I wrote back, I'm not a tourist guide. So you can visit our country's website and find out about our country. You want to know about me? Write and ask. You know, and that personality has transcended throughout. I'm very blunt. We got married. I went to live in Belgium, came back to live in Trinidad. We said we would live for 5 years in Trinidad. How many of you all here are Europeans? Take it from me, non-Europeans. If you carry a European, I was like, nope, not interested, don't like politics. Politics is full of liars. Except for you, of course. And she says, okay, but then you have to help one of our persons running. I said, I could do that. That I could do. Stay in the background, you know, use strategy, and kind of like persuade students to vote for you. She said, how are you going to do it? I said, watch me. And when I taught classes, every now and then I would flash a little picture of the potential prime minister in my PowerPoint and find some reason to link her. Because I mean, I have 1,000 students. It could go a long way, right? But I never said I was backing any political party. And she won elections. I called her that night, congratulations. I remember that was a Monday, a Friday morning, 4:30, she calls. She said, I've been trying to reach you. And I looked at the clock and I'm like, it's 4:30 in the morning. She said, well, I need you to be in my government. I said, yeah. Thinking she meant, you know, write another speech, because I used to write speeches for her. She said, as my Minister of Health. Watch me, what? I always remember that. And I woke up right away. And I said, but I said I don't like politics. She says, okay, I'm asking you this as your prime minister. Now, what are you going to do then? You're working for the government as a lecturer at a university. You keep thinking right away, flash, be a politician or be unemployed. Be a politician, be unemployed. I said, okay, but you can't tell anybody. So, except for your spouse. So I told my spouse I could bring one person to the swearing in. I had to go and resign from UWI right away from the university. I go into university and I hand in my last exam papers, all corrected. Good thing I was on schedule, and my resignation letter. And my university says, can we not make you a better offer? I said, no. Where are you going? Not necessarily anywhere, you know? And that evening, I was the Minister of Health. Sometimes, because she has the Indian culture, they wrap their heads in this Band-Aid and they sap in the head like, oh, she's dying. And she's like, what are you doing here? Everyone's showing on TV, they're still there. I said, yes, but the Minister of Health heard that you were sick. So she's here. You have the Minister of Health. Because I am there smiling, because my mother is singing to me, Alleluia, Alleluia. So, I mean, she's really thinking that she's a Roman Catholic. So she's looking for the end to come. We like their actions on Facebook. We like their comments. We like their pictures. And I remember a few years ago, people were petitioning, and Facebook has now given you the opportunity to unlike. When liking is not enough, we comment on it. Oh, I've just walked into a movie theater. And everybody but, I like that. I just saw a red flower. I like that. I mean, it gets ridiculous, you know. Yesterday I was in the airport waiting to come back, and I actually put on Facebook, I am so bored waiting in this airport, and I started to write a whole set of stupidness. And one of my students wrote, we love when you're bored, because then Facebook lights up. Because I am there writing all these things, and they're reading all my mad things about watching people pass by and who is wearing what, and I'm telling them the whole world through my eyes, and I kind of say weird things. That's why I have 2 pages on Facebook, one for my friends and some of the students who still don't want to leave, and one, the public one, because I can't put some of the things that I really want to say on the public one, because then I will be no longer in the public life. So let's keep on track. We post on the timeline. Remember, we'll talk about that timeline and other things, about this Facebook phenomenon we have. I saw something, and it said VIP. And you know, VIP was very important person. But in Italy, it stood for very intelligent parking. And I was thinking, you know, that's true. Because a lot of VIPs cannot VIP. Okay? I was in Qatar recently. And I was like, I want to know more about Qatar. So I searched out a woman dressed in black. And I was like, hi, you from Qatar? And she's like, yes. And I'm thinking, if my students could see me now, they would say, how stupid a comment. She's sitting down behind a flag that says Qatar, and I sit here in my opening statement, hi, you're from Qatar? You know, but it's an opening line, and we started to talk. And I learned so much about that culture that I didn't know. I learned so much about how much women had rights in that country that I didn't know. A woman there gets 1 year maternity leave. In my country, we get 3.5 months. It's moved to 3.5 months. I heard in America, you don't even get maternity leave. You have to take disability leave and add up sick leave and vacation leave. But we tend to look at them and think, oh, these women have no rights. And they had so much rights. She gave me, I said, how do you all, and she talked about how they have rights to divorce their husband. They can divorce their husbands on 3 things. 1, if he ill-speaks their family. I know in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of husbands might have been divorced by now. 2, they can divorce their husbands if they don't give them enough money to take care of the family. Around the world, I think a lot of husbands, some maybe sitting in this room, may have been thrown out by now. 3rd thing you can divorce your husband is if he attacks you, verbally abuses you. Just that alone, and you can divorce him. Granted, you can't divorce him for infidelity, because they allow multiple marriages. But I said, this is just, that's empowering them. There are rules where say women and men working in the same job must get the same pay. We in the developed world, in the developing worlds, do we have that? We don't have that, but yet we try to judge their cultures. The Prime Minister said she's reshuffling again. So I called her and I said, listen, if you need to move somebody out and move them into my position, it's vacant. And she just said, ha ha ha, she didn't take me on. Gents, how many of you all know that Who Let the Dogs Out came from Trinidad? That song has grown all over the world, and it was one of our calypsos. I have whined to that song. And by the way, when we say whine, we do not mean drink. We mean a gyration of the hips. I am an expert of that. One day I will teach you. Trinidad and Tobago produces a range of musical genres: soca, chutney, steel pan, we celebrate carnival. We were on the top. The only 2 that beat us was New Orleans Mardi Gras and Belgium's Carnival Binge. Did I say I'm married to a Belgian? In closing, let me once again thank the Institute for the invitation to speak to you today at this exciting forum. I look forward to sharing of ideas and comments, and to you having a fantastic day today. Thank you.
I'm sure we've all learned a lot about Trinidad and Tobago. Does anybody have any questions for the Ambassador?
Hello, I'm Henna Khan from the Netherlands/UK, and I'd like to ask you a question about culture and how to maintain it in modern day society, and whether you feel if celebrating aspects of a culture are better than creating legislations, because Hungary as a country have created a legislation that protects their culture wherever the Hungarians travel across the world. And do you feel celebrating a culture is a more positive way of maintaining a culture rather than having to revert to legislation to protect it?
The thing is, legislation to protect it, I don't think it as being separate to celebrating it. because the fact is we need some parameters to operate within this world. And I think the aim of any kind of legislation is to establish those parameters. If it means it's a constrictive method, then it's wrong. But if the legislation is open enough that it allows the celebration to have ways of expressing yourself, and you don't have to like only do it this way, then it's not a problem. But without it, you find, therefore, true understanding may be lost. And I think the aim of the legislation, having been from a cabinet, is to allow those parameters to be set as a guiding tool to people.
Okay. Any more questions? Maybe we have time for one more.
She was that bad that nobody had a question?
We are slightly pushed for time, so if there are no more questions, then I would like to ask you, everybody, to give one more round of applause to Her Excellency Ambassador Therese Baptiste-Cornelis. Thank you.